Welcome to the program. It's our weekly visit with Cooper Mays, brought to you by City Heating and Air, that we absolutely love. The Vol Report with Cooper Mays, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Coop, frustrating game. I know the way it ended, especially the second half. How's morale?
Yeah, probably not at its highest, I would say. I don't really know. It's disappointing for sure.
Yep. You guys had control. It looked like early in the game. A lot of people don't walk into Bryant Denny Stadium and take control of a game, but it felt like you guys did. Take me through that kind of first half and what that felt like.
Yeah, definitely didn't feel like the second half. We went out there and I thought we executed well. I thought we did some really good things. And one thing I didn't think we did is I didn't think we took advantage of our red zone opportunities again. I think if you look at a lot of those opportunities we had, we could have really put probably 28 up on the board in the first half, which would have probably given us a lot different outlook on the game and given us a lot different start in the second half. But we went out there and I think, like you said, I thought we took control in the first half, but the second half wasn't what it needed to be.
Usually, red zone success goes hand in hand with running the football, and you guys, as we've discussed, are a very good running football team. How come that didn't jive? You think?
I'm not really sure. We got to watch the film. I don't know. I mean, red zone points can go either way, running or passing, but it's just we haven't been able to put a lot of red zone success together. So I don't know. We'll see it in film.
Gotcha. As when you look back at the game, was there a moment in particular? And I've got my thoughts of when there may have been a turning point of if you want to put it on one play, probably not even applicable, but was there a moment in which you said this thing's starting to slip even before maybe the scoreboard indicated as such?
Yeah, I don't know the moment. Just the whole second half really just didn't really go our way, and it didn't seem like we came out with the same. I don't know. It wasn't like an effort thing. I don't know. I don't really know what it was, man. We just stuff didn't go our way the second half, and we didn't execute high enough level to win. So I don't really know any excuses that you can think of, but at the end of the day, we didn't get it done, and it sucks, man.
We've discussed this before. You guys are excellent at bouncing back after a loss. You've always come back and played pretty well. How important is that right now?
It's really important. The way we practice this week, the way we attack this week and play this week is going to be a big sign of where we're at in our program and see who we are as men and how you handle yourself as such. I think you know it's a big test and to see what people are really made of.
Th- There's probably not. I mean, things could happen in the SEC East. Things could happen as we've seen in the college football playoff. You guys were on the verge of getting in with two losses. How much do you talk about things like that, or how much do you say you just need to go out and practice and play well out of pride?
Man, I always think it's not really me. I'm not that guy that is always thinking like 10 weeks down the road and all that. That's not how I really do things. I think if you do that, you lose sight of what's going on in front of you. So me personally, I haven't thought about the playoff one time this whole year. Like that's not what I've been thinking about. I just think about the next game, and that's not I know it's cliche or whatever, it's like coach speak, but that's my truth. Like I don't do that whole thing. Like I focus on winning one game and whoever that is the next game.
Is it? Yeah, Coop. For those maybe just tuning in for the first time, be sure and hit subscribe. Hit that like button so we can get out to more people. And in case you didn't know by now, Cooper definitely takes a lot of pride in the way he plays and practices each and every day and week. The short yardage conversions What were your thoughts on that? Because there were a couple of short down and distances in 3 4th downs, as a matter of fact, on the 4th and inches, weren't able to convert. How frustrating was that?
It was frustrating. It wasn't good.
Was it was it something they did, or was it just not your all's best play at the particular time?
Just wasn't we didn't execute it the way we needed to. And when you don't execute against guys like Bama, it doesn't work very well.
Yeah. How do you feel now? This will be third game back, right? Um, so how did you feel personally as a player?
Man, I felt pretty good. I like you say, there's nothing really gonna be perfect about a game. Like there's always gonna be some you want to get back, but I thought I played well, I guess. I watched the film back. I played decent. So it just sucks that it's like I don't know. The whole night you're kind of trying to describe the way you feel and everything, but there's no really words to describe kind of how disappointing that is in the moment and right thereafter.
Yeah, how do you not only college but high school? How do you just you personally, not the whole team? How do you process a loss? What's kind of the stages, so to speak?
I don't know if there's even really stages. I just think it just sucks. There's nothing you can do, and really, it's just like it's life, man. You win some, you lose some. Some things don't go your way, some things do. At the end of the day, you got to move on and be better from it. So, I mean, at the very base level of it is football. It's a game, and not everybody's going to win every single time, and that's really the end of it. So that's kind of the way I think about it. It sucks, but you gotta keep moving. I mean, you can't sit here and dwell on it.
The Vol Report brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Go to cityheatandair.com, an American Standard dealer. And with City Heating and Air Conditioning, they've been in business in Knoxville for 50 years. That's right, 50 years. And they can certainly make sure you get the right assessment on your unit. May not have to buy a whole new unit, may just be a slight fix. Your thoughts on Joe Milton? And I know you're busy during plays, you got things to do, but I thought played pretty well. Stat line was nice, but in particular, I wanted to ask you about his running ability and what he was able to do. It seems like he's just kind of maybe getting comfortable of when to run, when not to run.
Yeah, yeah, that probably seems a little bit accurate. I'm not really sure what he's thinking back there, but it does seem like the first game where he's really used his legs as like a pretty like a decent of like a weapon. Obviously, he's always had the running ability. No, nobody's questioned that, but it seemed like he did use it a little bit more, and then I think it ended up being well for us. I think it helped us a lot. And, there's nothing like having that dual threat. The always the ability to pull the ball at the back end and or just take off running it to the front side. The defense got to account for an extra man, so it's a big game changer if we can get that going really well.
Guess in nowadays football, again, I'm older than you, but everybody look for that pure pocket passer. Nowadays, if you're not able to run a little bit, that's trouble.
Man, I would think so. I'm not no quarterback, but I would like to be able to run away from people.
Yeah, it would be better than getting hit by them, no question. As far as the running game in general, when you look back, and I know you want to see the tape, but I think it was Jalen Wright had 11 carries for 22 yards. Jabari had 8 carries for 24, and Dylan Sampson had 4 carries for 28 yards. Why was that not what it's been to this point?
There was a lot of stacked boxes, a lot of pressure. I think they definitely knew that we um, had some pretty good success running the ball, and I think they were doing a lot to negate that and kind of you know forcing the issue.
Did did they defend along those lines? Did Alabama defend you any differently than previous? I know you haven't seen them all because you weren't playing, but different than previous defenses.
I mean, they played a lot more four down. I mean, that would be different, but man, it's yeah. No, they didn't really play us much different. But I mean, it's just difference of schemes and a lot of pressures and different pressures. Just a lot of the conglomeration of stuff. They've got a really elite staff always. You know how that goes, and they've got great players to execute what they're doing. So they're always going to give you a really good fight on defense and of course offense too. They're just a good football team.
Did they do? Did you talk about loading the box? And I was wondering last week if somebody might just might start doing that. Had that been the case previously? I'm not going to pretend that I know every single play, but had people loaded the box for you guys based off your success of running the football?
It just, I mean, there's just a lot of different stuff that goes on. I mean, obviously you can't do everything every play. You know, it isn't like they're just running 10 people down in the box, but teams find a way to get pressures off and do their stuff. I'm not. I'm pretty smart, but I'm not. You know, I'm not on Saban's level, so I don't know what he's doing for real. But yeah, they did a nice job.
Do you feel like that there will be things that you'll be better prepared for now that you've seen it maybe in a game atmosphere, some different tweaks that the defense might throw at you?
No, we just got to get better at what we're doing, man. I mean, defense can only be played so many ways, and you know, at the end of the day, football is getting the ball in the end zone, and we got to find ways to do that more often.
I didn't ask you about this the first couple of games you came back and played because you guys all played so well as a group, but as far as getting back kind of into the flow and getting your chemistry back, specifically with your guards, but the rest of the offensive line, is that something that was there immediately, or does it take time when you miss time due to injury?
Will you re-ask the question? I messed up the tail end of that or the
It,
beginning of it, I think.
it was terribly worded. I'll go ahead and tell you that. That was a fumble on Dave. Okay, so uh, when you came back, you played so well that I thought, man, chemistry immediately, snap a finger, flip a light switch. Is there still chemistry, even though you played so much, but when you miss that time, is there still chemistry that needs to be somewhat rebuilt when you get back in there?
No, not really, not for me. I mean, maybe them in relation to me, but I think everybody. I don't know. I've played enough football at this point where I can kind of slide in and kind of just pick up where I left off, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Especially I mean, obviously your injury is physical, so I mean that doesn't stop you from being the same person mentally every day. So, I mean, even though I wasn't physically in the game, I was still around. Like everybody heard me in the meeting room, on the field, in the making all the calls and all that stuff. I mean, it's not like there's a big adjustment. I think everybody's pretty much on the same page.
What was the message from Josh Heupel after the game?
Just that he he loves us, loves competing with us and everything. And it's just we weren't good enough on this day to get it done, you know, and that we didn't execute at a high enough level to get it done. And it's not saying that we aren't good enough, you know. Obviously we have the talent and have everything it takes. We've done it before. It's just we weren't good enough on that day, and that's how football is. And you know that we got to come back next week to the drawing board and get better and figure out what we can do better to have more success in the future.
Who are some of the leaders you expect to step to the forefront in this tough time? You mentioned a lot as I've asked you this question before, different situations, but who are some of those guys you expect to step up?
You know, any of those guys that have been captains, I don't. I mean, that's the thing. Everybody thinks that like after a game like this, that the world's ending and that everybody needs to say something and that everybody's got some just great, great, great words to say that'll just fix everything. I mean, we're the same team that we were yesterday at halftime. We're the same exact team, and that, in my opinion, kind of gets a little bit. Everybody kind of gets a little bit riled up after a loss and thinks that they need to change everything. Man, it's just doing the little stuff at a higher level. I mean, just being a man and handling your business the right way, and that's all it is. I mean, it's not like the world's ending. It's just we lost the football game to a good team at their
Yeah,
place.
yeah, no doubt about it. And you pointed out before they get scholarships too. Um,
Man, dude,
and I'm sorry. Go ahead.
they definitely do, man. Everybody kind of forgets that, but they most definitely are on scholarship too.
Yeah, it's not a collection of walk-ons out there or guys that they found among the student body. I don't think.
No.
Um, Obviously, Alabama is a physical football team, and they have been with Nick Saban there, and he's I think kind of rededicated himself and his program to that. There's a saying that teams sometimes struggle to bounce back because of the physicality. What do you make of that? Is there something to that or no?
You're saying struggling to bounce back after playing Alabama?
Yeah, just physically because of the style of football that they play now and that they played pre-spread.
Yeah, no. I mean, Alabama's good and all, but I mean, it's not like, come on, man.
It's not,
I mean, they're not. I mean, look, they're good. They're a great football team. They're hats off to them. They are like Bama's good, but I mean, it's not like they just whooped us down the field. You know what I'm saying? I think had a lot to do with the mishaps.
you say Bam is good. Uh, almost a totally different cast of characters they have across the board. There was a guy named Will Anderson who's pretty good. I know it's not your side of the ball. There's a guy named Bryce Young that was pretty good. When you look at this Alabama football team, do you think they're better than last year's version, or do you have a feel for that?
No, I don't. I don't think they're better than last year's team. Though. Probably not.
Gotcha. The um, Kentucky. When you think of Kentucky throughout your career, how would you typically describe their program?
I would say they're steady and dependable. I think they're always going to be a team that you look at that has talent. Has a they've the whole time I've been in college, they've had a really good O line, been able to run the ball really well. I think that's a testament to their program. I think they've got some crazy stats about like maybe like bowl games or something they've been to in a row, or like the amount of wins that they surpass every year. I think their coach does a really good job with them, and I think they are a really good game for us every single year.
Is it good to have somebody that you a know a little bit and b is an SEC team that gets your attention right off the bat after a loss?
Yeah, it doesn't, man, it doesn't really matter to me whoever it is, but they're a good team, and we're going to be excited for the challenge whenever it comes.
Yep. They're up next. He's Cooper Mays. I'm Dave Hooker. The Vol Report brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Integrity matters. 50 years in Knoxville. He's Cooper Mays. I'm Dave Hooker. This has been a presentation of Off the Hook Sports.